The caterer found me first. "Should we box up the food?" she asked, gesturing toward 8 untouched plates, the bread gone hard at the edges. Behind her, the ballroom lights buzzed faintly, too bright for a room this empty. I looked at the reserved table, name cards still folded into their little tents, crisp as the morning they were printed. "Yes," I said. "Box it." I'd flown in 12 people, booked the rooms, paid for a dinner nobody ate. And I stood there thinking about how strange it was that grief could arrive disguised as a catering question. My phone had been face down on the signing table for 2 hours. When I finally turned it over, my brother's post was already collecting laughs from people I didn't recognize. "Good luck with your little hobby." 3 words under it from my aunt, sent separately, almost cheerful. "Let us know when you're published for real." I didn't reply to either. I packed 26 unsigned copies into a box meant for 40, and the cardboard felt heavier than it should have. There's a typewriter key I've carried since I was 9, the letter M, pried loose from a Smith Corona my mother used to write checks she pretended were letters, sealed envelopes she never sent because she was too proud to ask anyone for help, even when help would have kept the heat on. I found the key in a drawer after she died. I don't know why I kept it instead of the whole machine. Maybe because the whole machine felt like too much to carry and the key felt like just enough. It was in my jacket pocket that night. It's been in most of my pockets for 15 years. I think about her sometimes when I send money I don't mention. 3 years ago, my brother lost his lease deposit to a landlord who didn't return calls, and I quietly covered the difference on his next place without telling him it was me. Told him the new landlord ran a first month special. He never asked questions about why his rent stayed strangely affordable. My aunt's situation was different, messier, the kind of thing where you transfer money and then never speak of it again, because speaking of it would make it real, would make it a thing that could be acknowledged, or worse, repaid. I never wanted repayment. I wanted, maybe just once, to be looked at the way you look at someone who showed up. The morning after the launch, I sat on the edge of the hotel bed still wearing yesterday's shirt, scrolling past photos other people's families had taken at other people's events. My thumb stopped on the rent transfer app. I don't remember deciding to cancel it. I remember my thumb already having done it before the rest of me caught up. No drama. No message explaining why. Just absence where a transfer used to be. I flew home that afternoon. Unpacked the boxed catering food into a refrigerator that already had enough, put the typewriter key on my desk, where it's always been, propped against a framed photo nobody else has ever asked about. 3 days later, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Frank Aduya. I manage the property on Larkspur," the voice said, polite but tight. "There's been a payment issue. I wanted to check if there was an error on our end." "No error," I said. A pause. "The transfers have been consistent for 3 years." I assumed, "It's not my lease anymore," I said, and I heard how flat it came out, how little it resembled the speech I might have given a year ago, the one with all the receipts and resentment built in. I didn't need the speech. The sentence did the work. He apologized for the confusion, said he'd follow up with the tenant directly. I thanked him and hung up, and the apartment was very quiet. The kind of quiet that isn't peace yet, but isn't grief anymore either. A week passed. No calls, no texts, not even an argument which somehow unsettled me more than shouting would have. I kept waiting for the version of this where someone finally asks why, where the silence breaks into a conversation we should have had 3 years ago. It didn't come. Maybe it never will. I went looking eventually for the rest of that old typewriter, found one on a resale site. Different model, same era, sun-faded ribbon spool still intact. I don't know why I bought it. I told myself it was for the desk for decoration, the kind of object writers are supposed to have. But the first night I had it set up, I fed in a sheet of paper and typed one line just to hear the sound my mother must have heard 1,000 times, alone, in a kitchen no one walked into. I am not invisible. I was only quiet. I didn't send it to anyone. I didn't need to. I left the M key beside the machine, finally returned to where it had come from, missing letter restored to a different version of the same sentence. Not closure with my family, That's still an open door I haven't decided whether to walk back through. But closure with the part of me that kept mistaking silence for love and money for being seen. The book sold modestly. Strangers wrote to me about it sometimes, kind, specific things about characters who felt real to them. I read those messages slowly, the way you read something you've been waiting on without admitting you were waiting. It was enough. It had to be for now. And for the first time in a long while, it actually was.